Bam! What is going on, fine hooligans? Hope y'all are mucho bueno out there. It's been a hectic day. It's been a little bit crazier than I was expecting, to be honest. Getting this video shot a little bit late, so we're just going to do a one shot, one take, all the way through. No fancy editing or anything like that. Either way. So, Hamilfet had suggested something for a video because I had put it out to the hooligans. And he had said, what are some inspirations for creative projects that I've done, and what are some that I have on the horizons? The horizon lines. What do I got going on right along there? So one, the fireplace. Thank you very much, Hamilfet. I'm glad that you think that is badass because I'm super proud of it. But for me, that is not done yet. And if you haven't seen that, there's a whole video I did when I made that fireplace back there. So please go check that out if you have the time. I would appreciate that. But for me, it's still not quite finished because what I want to do for the inside of it is get one of those fake fire lamps that blow the ribbons and it's you know what I mean? Looks like fire. I want to get one of those and put that in there so it actually looks, like a fire is going on in there. That'd be really cool. So hopefully I can figure that out one day. Other ones I have going on though, personally, I would love to say that I have a Mr. Crane short film in the works, or really right now any short film. But if I'm going to be honest with you folks, I'm not sure when there's going to be another Mr. Crane one. A lot, the stories I have in mind, I kind of need, more than just myself to pull off. Certain things that I've tried in the past, as far as maybe doing an animated one, didn't really work out. And yeah, it just really sucks because I don't know. I love the Mr. Crane character and the idea of it that was around it all. You know what I mean? And I really don't want to abandon that character. So I think what I'm going to do is, instead of trying to focus so much on doing a short film, just take those stories that I've worked on already and in a way do audiobooks on the channel. I love audiobooks, to be honest with you. There's a couple of the hooligans out there that have said they prefer audiobooks as well because whether they're in the car or chilling at home or whatever it is, they can throw it on and you can just take an adventure, especially good ones, you know what I mean? So for me, I don't know. If I can't do any short films, excuse me, as far as Mr. Crane goes, that character and everything will still continue because I want to at least, keep the stories that I worked on. The Jack the Ripper one that I have, I absolutely love it. It's something that I've always been interested in Jack the Ripper and everything. So it's something that's always kind of sparked my curiosity for it all. Excuse me, I had a burp that was trapped. No bueno. So yeah, I'm not going to say there's a short film, but as far as maybe an audiobook / written format, if some folks want that, I can upload it somehow, make a little cover art and all that. Definitely do that for Mr. Crane. Another project of mine that's a bit of a passion project, a book that I was working on, One Bad Day. I got a little discouraged while I was writing it. There's a few things that kind of knocked me off course, if I'm being honest. I'm getting back to writing it, and I'm having so much fun coming up with more ideas for it and actually putting them all together. And if the hooligans are interested, then I'll definitely do an audiobook format, on the channel or something, you know what I mean? So if you're not familiar, at least One Bad Day, it's, basically think of a horror story in a way, but from the point of view of the killer, from the point of view of the person going after people. But he's not your regular, just hack and slash type shit. There's more to this character. It's not so much that he's I don't know, for me at least, it's not so much that he's a monster. It's how far sometimes can our curiosity get us. How sometimes that whole curiosity killed the cat. Sometimes curiosity might kill somebody else. I'm just saying. But I don't know. That's another thing that I'm in love with. You know what I mean? The Mr. Crane character and One Bad Day. I'm having I've just, for a while I didn't want to work on it because I just got kind of discouraged with it. And then just more and more I was, talking to other people and just I think I talked about it a while ago on the channel. Just talking with more people and just like hearing more stories from people who are like, man, like writing your first book isn't something that like can be done, or it shouldn't be done within 6 months or a year or whatever. If it does and it's awesome, then cool. But like a lot of authors took years to finally finish their first thing or whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just kind of hope at the end of the day, the hooligans or anybody out there likes it. I guess it is kind of like a weird topic to dive into. I know a lot of people did not like that movie, The House That Jack Built, because of the theme that was with it. I personally, I loved that movie. The ending, a little weird. I get it, but I enjoyed it. But either way, actually, The House That Jack Built, it's definitely not an inspiration, but it's interesting that it's kind of the same idea. Whereas instead of it's always like from somebody else's point of view and they're dealing with a killer, it's here's a killer letting you in to their mind and how things kind of work for them and how they see the world in a way. It's in that same theme, One Bad Day and The House That Jack Built. But no, I started writing One Bad Day probably 3 to 4 years ago, I want to say. And yeah. But even though it's not an inspiration, I'll say it again. The House That Jack Built, super dope movie. I really liked it. Excuse me. What else is going on? I want to write more poetry pieces. Don't know what happened to my mouth there. Actually, cool, really cool. A channel had reached out to me and they wanted to share my Trolls Under the Bridge poetry piece. So yeah, that was really cool. Like that's the first channel that's ever shared one of my videos and everything. So I just like, that's really cool. And I had noticed they said in their description, they like had wished I had written more poetry pieces, and I've been dwelling on writing more like recently, and other people have asked. So it's like, everything's just coming back into line to like write more. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things, with those pieces, I had certain things going on, or I felt a certain way about the world or whatever it was at that time. And it was just, I put it out there. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I don't want it always to be, I don't know, like some sad shit, I guess. But it feels like sometimes when I write poetry pieces, it just comes out sad or like angry about shit. Even though like I personally don't feel like angry at anyone or anything at that moment. You know what I mean? I don't know. One thing I want to do, 2 verses, 1 take. It was the last song that I put out. To be honest, I probably will never put out another song. If anything, I'll put out a poetry piece or something like that. But I want to do it. I've been thinking about doing a music video for that lately. Just doing my own thing. Honestly, like I don't know. I ain't got like some crazy budget or like production team or anything like that. I just want to do something on my own, kind of just full creativity. You know what I mean? And just kind of like do the weirdest fucking music video that I want or whatever. If it doesn't end up being weird, it doesn't end up being weird. But still, you folks know what I'm saying. At least I'll be in control. But that's something that I've been thinking about too. So if the hooligans like that song and they want to see a video for it, let me know. But other than that, I don't know. It's kind of weird that I'm like, a lot of like, I guess like the things that have been occupying my mind the most, I've been trying to figure out how to do short films still, because like that is something I 100% want to keep doing. Honestly, like if somebody said like, what's your dream job? Filmmaker. Like whether it's director, an editor, like whatever, just a writer, actor, whatever. It's filmmaking and the whole process with it. I absolutely love it. So I definitely want to do more short films, but right now, because it doesn't look like that's going to be a very definite thing unless I kind of do my own thing, like kind of just how I've done in the past at certain points. It looks like I'll be doing some audiobooks, if that's what you want to call them. At least that I'm saying audiobook for just like lack of a better term for them right now. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to do something like that. I think that would be really cool. And especially because, like, I don't know, like, not to sound like egotistical or anything. It's just like I've listened to a lot of audiobooks, and it's just, I don't know. Excuse me, these burps are killing me right now. Wrong time, fellas. Stay down. Sorry, folks. Sorry. But no, I don't know. At least for me, I'd say, like, the audiobooks that I prefer are the ones that, like, they're, like, it creates the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just, like, somebody reading a book. Like, there's actually, like, whether it's, like, ambient music or whatever, or, like, some sound effects when shit's going on, like, I don't know. I just like audiobooks that really, like, bring you into the story and bring you into this world. So that's the kind of stuff that I would want to aim for. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But right now it looks like some audiobook-esque stuff is on the horizons. Remember the horizon lines? We talked about those. But yes, and then some poetry pieces. We'll see what happens with those. I would like to get some done, but at the same time, I don't want to focus too much on it, and it always ends up being some sad shit. Because I don't want to be a sad buoy. I want to be a happy buoy. You know what I mean? So, my hooligans. I've yapped enough. I've blabbered on. I've drinking juice and I've burped a bit. Which I apologize for again. Let's not dwell on it. Come on. Either way. Hope you folks are mucho bueno. I don't know. I didn't talk about inspiration stuff. Or I guess I did as I was, like, talking about it all. Just being, like, in love and obsessed with, like, a lot of this stuff. I don't know. With the one bad day kind of stuff. Serial killers and that kind of thing has always interested me and always had my curiosity. More so like when you would get to see interviews with these killers, because you get to, like, kind of, like, I don't know, I guess hear what they think. At least some of them, some of them held on to their innocence and stuff, and, like, or their claim of innocence, I should say. But either way, and I just always wanted to see things from the other side and, like, kind of dive into that world a bit. With Mr. Crane, I've always loved, honestly, one big inspiration for that would be Highlander. I've always loved those movies. I've always loved the show. So, like, the whole immortal aspect definitely was, like, an inspiration for that. But also, like, the idea of, like, many gods existing and having this one person that they kind of use to, in a way, like, kind of take certain people out and kind of manipulate the stories of the world without people actually knowing, because it's not like a story in the Bible or whatever. And yeah, I just always liked that. Kind of like all of these gods existing, and this one person knows, and he might not necessarily like the people he is being forced to work for and everything, but he still does the jobs. It's just, you don't always like the person you work with, but you gotta do the job. You know what I mean? But again, I've done a little short film with that, Mr. Crane, the introduction, so it gives you more of an idea and everything. But there's a lot to him, Mr. Crane and the Savage is, the Savage is in a way his original form, and this part of him that is still very angry for the gods kind of, in a way, holding him hostage and, like, making him anyway do, like, their dirty work and everything. And when that comes out, when that transformation comes out, it's just darkness and anger, and it's just, yeah. But either way, if you want to go check out more of Mr. Crane, go check out Mr. Crane, the introduction. And I'll be doing more stories with him soon. So, mucho love you, hooligans. If you folks want to know more about any, like, inspiration or anything, just hit me up. Twitter, Instagram, same name as on here. Juvie the Kid. JUVYTHAKID. If I had done editing for this, I would have had a fancy little graphic right there spelling it out. But it's all good. Mucho love you, hooligans. Hope everybody's mucho bueno out there. You want to help support the channel any further? Links are in the description. Mwah, mwah, mwah for you beautiful fat cheese. All my quiet kids, freaks, and weirdos. For the love of everybody, keep being weird. Come on now.